Thank you for coming to my channel, Compass Starlight. I'd like to take a look at what kind of energy we can expect for this week or for the beginning of this week. What are your thoughts and ambitions as we start this new week? What are your hopes? What would you like to achieve in your life? One week, 24 hours a day. 1 week, 24 hours a day. This is the archetype deck. Mars. Card number 45. This one now is the Goddess Guidance Oracle cards from Doreen Virtue. Coventina. Again, drew this card yesterday. Interesting. Shuffled and shuffled and shuffled. And then this deck here is, what is this called? Rainbow Tarot. I do shuffle these cards on and off camera. Off camera and on camera. In between. Sometimes I walk around the house with a deck, just kind of giving them my energy and shuffling cards. It's true. Let's see what we get here from the Rainbow Tarot. 5 of Cups. Well, for Mars, this is a very assertive energy. The archetype is for vitality. Maintain enthusiasm and aggressiveness. It's not something we often hear of, being encouraged, maintaining aggressiveness. But I think, if nothing else, we could take that as being a sense of tenacity. And I see that here with this dog. Dogs, yes, they can be aggressive. And yes, the protagonist in this card, number 45 for Mars, is adorned in armor. He's prepared for battle. In fact, additionally, the protagonist is seated on a chariot, which also implies a sense of balance. Traditionally, the card number 7 in the traditional tarot, the Rider-Waite Tarot, for example, the card of the chariot depicts 2 forces pulling the charioteer. A dark force and a light force. And at times they can be depicted as horses, they can be depicted as lions, they can be depicted as imaginary beasts, but nonetheless, the charioteer is able to grasp and rein in the light and the dark and keep them balanced so that he can drive them forward together to carry himself and his chariot. So this card here with Mars seated on a chariot implies that there is a sense of balance in his thoughts and actions. Mars is a very action-oriented symbol and planet. It is representative of fire signs, which are also typically understood as being action-oriented. They are initiators. But it also, in this particular card, he has the sword of truth, the sword to cut through BS, the sword of clarity. And he has the dog of fidelity. So all in all, the message of this card implies that one could be assertive and even aggressive, tenacious, with balance, hot pursuit of passions, staying focused on loyalty, fidelity, and that could be to a person, place, job, situation, or it could be to oneself. Coventina is a card I drew from the Oracle of the Goddess Guidance yesterday. It is a card about purification. This is a card that blends and melds the principles of water and fire. This goddess is rising up out of a sea of emotions, and the fiery color of her hair and the sun shining on her, as well as the wings of the dove, implies that there is a fiery element. The fiery element of the sun, the fiery element of illumination. With both arms outstretched, there is also another implication of balance. This card says it is time for a cleansing detoxification of your body and mind. I'll read from the book here. Again, I did yesterday. But Coventina. This message comes as a help and not as an affront or criticism. Your vessel has become clogged by overuse of harsh chemicals, and the offending source is within your psyche. The offending source is within your psyche. You've been ignoring your body's many signals and screams for relief from the steady ingestion of impurities. Perhaps you've also noticed a slump in your energy level, and your degree of joy has lagged as well. Never mind these past effects, though, as the solution is at hand right now. Now that you've heard this message, do not hesitate for even a moment to make new arrangements. You'll want to keep a sharp focus on the contents of your mind and speech as well, for the words you think and speak are the very diet that supports or thwarts you. Choose purity, and I promise you a changed outlook for the better. As this card pinpoints the outlook, changing your outlook, I find it interesting as we look at this 5 of Cups card from the Rainbow Tarot. And this 5 of Cups, particularly in this deck, there is a look almost of anger, resentment, and disgust on the face of the protagonist as he looks down on the 3 spilled cups of the 5 cups that are presented before him. The 3 spilled cups are things that no longer serve the protagonist. They are things for which he has lost a taste. They were filled with contents. They are spilled contents, things that he does not any longer want. And yet, he is focused there on the fact that these cups have spilled, instead of looking in the other direction at the 2 cups before him, still filled with things that will please him, things that appeal to his taste, things that will serve him as he moves forward on his path. There is rain falling from these clouds. That perpetual cloud of darkness following this protagonist. That's all about attitude. That's all about outlook. There is a deeper message here in these cards. Overall, the message put together, everything seen and what these cards represent by the book. There are things we've been asked to look at in the past few days from the readings of cards that I've pulled on my channel. There are things like regrets, misdeeds, feelings of shame and guilt that the cards have asked us to take a look at within ourselves, dig deep, explore those feelings, explore those experiences, and then open our hearts to forgive ourselves for participating in those feelings, for having those feelings. We are only human. Forgive ourselves for doing things that we have done in our past for which we have regret. To let go, open our hearts for forgiveness so that we can let go of those feelings and step out of who we have been in the past and move into who we are now, our future self, the person we are proud to be, the person we are growing and maturing and expanding into being. Here, these cards are suggesting that if you have the tenacity, if you have that fidelity and that willpower, that sort of aggression, if you will, to steadfastly hold on to things, let it be then not the regrets of the past, but the beauty that is before you, the potential of the future. Let go and release those negative thoughts, those feelings of hardship and struggle, those feelings of shame and guilt, so that you can, with balance and purity in your heart, move your vessel forward into sunnier days, into brighter experiences. That's the message that I'm bringing to you for this week, for these few days here that mark the beginning of the week. I hope you appreciate the message. Thank you for coming to my channel, Compass Starlight.